All right, so we're live. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our event, Love at First Sight, where we're going to hear some wonderful internship stories from our successful student interns last semester. And I will let them introduce themselves. Why don't we start with Erica?
Hi, I'm Erica. I'm a sociology. Sorry, I'm Erica. I'm a sociology major, and I am an intern at the Career Development Center. I'm a career liaison, and I graduate in spring 2022.
I'll call on you next, Allegra, if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Allegra. I'm an instrumental major, performance. I play bass, and I'm graduating in 2022. I work in the piano shop, and I'm an apprentice. Yeah.
Thank you. Kara, can I call on you?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kara. I'm a junior communications major. I'm graduating in spring 2022, and in the fall, I interned at Brookside Artist Management.
And then lastly, Andrea, if I can get your introduction.
Hi, my name is Andrea. I am an arts management major and visual arts minor. I'm going to be graduating in spring of 2023, and last semester I interned at NIPERG.
All right, very cool. And for those of you graduating in the next few years, please feel free to come back and visit us for your resume, your job searching, all that good stuff. So why don't we jump into our topic of regarding your internships, can you tell us a little bit about what you do there or what you did there and what did you enjoy the most?
I can go. So as an intern at Brookside Artist Management, I was a talent management intern. And basically I was doing script coverage, creating character breakdowns, editing film reels, and updating client press kits. And some of the things that I really enjoyed there was reading the scripts. I got to read scripts for some of my favorite actors and up and coming actors, and it was really exciting.
I guess I'll go next. I work so my internship is on campus in the music building, and I work in the piano shop learning from the tuner. So I learned things like I had to learn how to tune pianos. Now of course, I do it, and I'm still learning about like repairs, and yeah, all sorts of things. And I just love all of it, tuning and doing repairs.
I joined the NIPERG internship last semester, which stands for New York Public Interest and Research Group. They are a group that focuses on environmental and social justice, and we were pretty much big on the election this year. And I got to do phone banking for both the election and the census, along with attending many events that focused on transportation and environmental matters. And also, I did a lot of talking, well, not talking, but event attending, and it was pretty much interesting to see it from a political standpoint.
I am a career liaison in the Career Development Center. Um, Pretty much our club like just helps students figure out their pathways and their career goals. We help students figure out resume building and graduate opportunities, and we have loads of resources for students to figure out those pathways. A few things that I like about interning here is I get to critique resumes and just really help students figure out what they would like to do in the future.
Excellent. It sounds like you all have participated in wonderful projects. And I want to say from your faces when speaking about it, it seemed like you had a good time. Is that fair to say? Yeah, perfect. So I want to ask you next, if you could please share one or two accomplishments or skills that you've learned at the internship. You told us a little bit about what you enjoyed, but how about like the takeaway? What was valuable?
I would say definitely being tedious and just being responsive and making sure that you're up to date with your emails. Also, collaborating with others. I've been doing that a lot. Learning how to do it remotely. There's definitely been some practice this semester.
Yeah, some of the skills that I gained was just like time management, holding myself accountable for deadlines in this remote work world now, which was like something I had to learn how to do. And just kind of like communicating with people, like higher up people, which was something that I never really had to do before. This is kind of my first like real world internship, I guess. So just experience talking to people like on a higher level than I was also.
Uh,
Okay. So for my internship, what I've learned is that it takes a lot of willpower and teamwork to get an issue heard and knowing how to solve it and to see who's on your side and what you can do to work on that said issue. It's not easy, but at least we're getting something done. At least we're doing something about it.
when I started my internship, I didn't know how to tune the piano, but now I can, and I'm just like increasing my like speed, the speed at which I'm able to do it, and my manual dexterity is also improving as I use tools and learn about parts of the piano.
Very cool. So we heard a little bit about communication skills, willpower, definitely important one too, and also technical skills. The dexterity part was really interesting. Does that help you, Allegra, as a musician as well?
Well, I'd say that I mean, I get, I don't know. I mean, because when I'm playing my instrument, it's very, it is a manual task. But also like, I don't know, it might be detrimental in the long run because I might get like carpal tunnel from doing all these repetitive motions. But yeah, I don't know. It's helpful because at least like if I have a skill in this area, I can also do like other kinds of repairs. Like I'd be more knowledgeable in general about how I could go about fixing things that aren't pianos, perhaps.
Fantastic. Thank you. And so for our next question, we'll be discussing a little bit on the other side in terms of what are some of the challenges, questions, things that came up during your internship? How has, for example, if it's a virtual internship, how has that impacted the experience for you?
In regards to my internship being virtual, there was a lot of event attending and a lot of keeping track on the hours and making sure you attended a lot of events as possible. And it got very tedious and tiresome after a while.
For me, I've done internships in person, so doing them remotely was a drastic change. Like mostly within the Career Development Center, like we are supposed to do like club outreach, and a lot of clubs and purchase are like not really meeting that much, being virtual, so they don't really want the outreach, or there's not many clubs like willing to collaborate. So I guess just losing that student touch is like one of the downfalls for me, but I'm still trying to make my way.
Because mine was remote, like it was hard not being in the office and being able to like immediately talk to my supervisor. Like sometimes my email would get buried under like everything that they would receive during the day. Something else was since I wasn't in the office, I wasn't really interacting with talent that much. And my work was more focused on the development side of the film industry rather than production because that was closed down at the time.
My internship is still in person because I wouldn't be able to do my work if I weren't in proximity to pianos and able to learn from my teacher. And but some of the challenges I've had is like balancing my practicing my instrument with tuning because it's very time consuming, especially at first, like when I started. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing those. And um, I do want to mention certainly a point to the workshops and meetings. Zoom fatigue is certainly a thing. So practice that self-care so you don't get burnt out when it comes to going to meetings and things like that, certainly. So let's take a look at our next point. Had this internship contributed to your education and career goals? Is that true? Maybe not so much? Tell us about that.
Yeah, this internship really did contribute to my career goals in education. I always knew that I wanted to work in the entertainment industry, but that was like a very vague idea. I never had a specific area that I wanted to work in. And coming out of my internship, I know that I now want to work in talent management or as an agent. And then it was also really helpful for my classes, just kind of get, I was able to get communication skills and all those things like that, and remote experience also that helped me with my classes as well.
My internship is it's opened a whole new career path that I wouldn't have thought of doing. I knew that I wanted to be like musical and continue doing music, but I was like concerned about monetary issues. But like with piano tuning, it's like something that I have that like I can be able to offer like as a service and you know get work because it's hard, especially with COVID on the entertainment industry. So at least I have that. And it's also given me confidence in my ability to play bass, like, because I don't know, like being successful in this one area has, yeah, it just given me confidence. And also like ear training, oral skills, like being able to hear intervals and things like that, I think has also improved due to my tuning.
I would definitely say like I'm in limbo between being like a social worker or working in higher education. So my internship in the Career Development Center is definitely have helped me explore the higher education side, and I definitely like it a lot. So I don't know, still don't know what to do yet, but I'm still figuring it out.
Even though NIPERG was more for political science majors and I'm an arts management one and I have been criticized for not choosing something related to my major, NIPERG really has opened my eyes and made me explore what it's like to manage something like attending an event or organizing a protest or anything similar to what its goal is. So that was something I've learned from another perspective.
Fantastic. You all shared wonderful positive stories there, which is always good to hear. And for the folks who are watching the recording now, I just want to let you know it's perfectly okay to do an internship and not fall in love with what you want to do. That's okay. It will save you time in the future to realize it's not right for you. Maybe it was a good interest. You checked it out, it didn't work out, and that's okay. But today we do have success stories where that did happen. And for Andrea, I just want to mention that there's going to be certainly transferable skills or to the things that attracted you to arts management that you've done at NIPERG. Like you said, setting up protests, community organization, networking, marketing, things like that. That's certainly useful in arts management too. So there's always ways to connect it, even if it's not 100% intuitive at first, if that makes sense. All right, cool. So let's go to our next point as well. Tell us a little bit about your academic project and communication with your faculty sponsor during your internship.
The sociology department just really wants us to do like academic journals, I guess like weekly journals of what we do every week. And my faculty sponsors really are pretty like just write the journals and hand them in at the end of the semester. There's like no need for a checkup, which is kind of like I feel like I lose touch a little bit because my prior internships I had weekly checkups and then they had to weekly check my journals. So it's definitely more of a responsibility to make sure that I get them done in a timely fashion.
For my academic project, my faculty advisor wanted me to fill in journal entries for the events I've attended, and along with there was a project, not really much a project, but an event that I was kind of organizing, and I gave the idea to show a movie named I Am Greta for our last chapter meeting, and which was acquired by their, I don't know how to say it, but it was required for us to record our events and organize an event and whatnot, and also attend one of the internship meetings.
So for my academic projects, I would do bi-weekly journal entries where I would answer prompts provided by my academic advisor or sponsor, and she would grade them at the end of each week that they were due, and I would get feedback from her, and she was open to any questions I had. And then for the end of the semester, I had to submit a 4 to 5 page paper about my internship experience.
Mine was basically like I just tune pianos every week, a few I do, and my tuning teacher will tell me if something is I can improve in some way, and we do again like repairs and stuff. So yeah.
And for those of you who are watching the recording or in the audience today with us, the academic project is a way for student interns, in addition to receiving credit, are also given a grade for their internship, which is typically A to F. It's also nice because I can say I've looked at the data. Our students typically get an A or a B, which is always good news, but it's a nice way to increase your GPA too, as most of our students do well. You've heard a little bit about the projects, most of them being weekly journals. Certainly that is the case. As a student intern back in my undergrad, I could say the same thing, journal entry and also a research paper. And they're not too difficult, so please don't be intimidated by the fact that there's a project involved. It's a good way for your department to say, the skills you're learning there are something we definitely approve on, and it works well with our program. All right, so next we'll talk a little bit about networking and communications. Tell us a little bit about your strategies when it came to communicating with your team members, and how do you maintain your network? Are there any folks that you still maintain in communication with?
I guess like I'm just building my network because I'm just starting to go out and like tune for people. So mostly it's by like word of mouth, or like if I know musicians that they'll like contact me. So, and my teacher also has like connections to like Steinway and stuff like that. So I can get referred mostly. But I mean, eventually I'll build up my business and maybe have a website or something.
We usually communicate through other social media sites like Slack and sometimes Instagram. And through other meetings, I get told about other events that are happening, whether it's an event happening upstate or another group outside of our internship, such as the New York Youth Climate Leaders. And they also did an event on talking about the Norlight, I think it was called. It was like a power plant, and they were talking about the issue about it. So it was quite interesting.
So for networking, I made sure to connect with the people that I interacted with at my internship. And there were also 4 other student interns there, so I connected with them also. I'm still in contact with my site supervisor, and he's actually been really helpful with me trying to find a summer internship. I interviewed for a job last week, and it turns out he actually knew the person that interviewed me, so he put in a good word for me, which was really great. You never know who knows people. It's a really small world, so it was very helpful for me.
I actually still talk to one of my sponsors at my old internship, and I've been doing the Career Development Center for this is my second semester, so I'm still well connected with Jeffrey and Wendy and all Erica and our new intern Nia. So I'm still trying to build up my internship, like I guess you could say my experience. So yeah.
Very cool. So we heard a little bit about the different methods of communication. We have emails. Word of mouth certainly is powerful. Never underestimate that one. And also, of course, there's things like LinkedIn, social media platforms, certainly, especially if you have like a dedicated professional or artistic Instagram, right? Then certainly professionals use that as well as a method for communication. One thing to keep in mind as well for you as the audience is that when there are folks who you see as mentors who you really learned a great deal from, and they are willing to look out for you and help you achieve your success, try to hold on to those contacts because you won't always find people like that. So when you do, it's very nice to keep them in your corner in case you may ever need their help or you have to rely on them. All right, so that'll bring us to our next point of how valuable has your internship been in your skill development and resume building in your applications? We actually heard a little bit about that from Kara. Maybe she can tell us more as well about how that process went.
Yeah, so I found that my internship was very valuable in terms of the skills that I gained and also building my resume. Since I've been on the internship hunt for the summer, I found that after getting this internship, a lot more companies that I've probably like I applied for before in the past semesters and hadn't heard anything from. Now I'm hearing back from them, which is really great. So that's something that I found very exciting because there's like it just really helped me out in the professional world.
All I can say is that ever since I added my internship into my resume, I've been getting recommendations from sites like Indeed or Purchase Job Score, but I really haven't heard much about them replying to me back. But I am currently in another internship as an art assistant for SK Studio and Art Gallery in White Plains, but it's virtual this semester. So there is that.
Yeah, same as Andrea. I get like recommendations from Purchase Job Score too. And I'm graduating next year. So hopefully, when I graduate into more like graduate schools, I'll definitely get more of a like, you know,
Yeah, I don't really use a resume that much because I'm more of like a freelancer. But my internship's been invaluable, and I'm going to continue doing it until I graduate. So.
Very cool. And certainly for each of you in the audience and watching the recording, depending on where you are in your career path, if you're starting out with internships as a sophomore, you'll leverage that very likely to your next position, such as Andrea mentioned. Now she's working in White Plains at an art gallery. So I'm certain that that internship may have helped. Certainly, Kara, you mentioned that it's been pretty helpful and new opportunities have opened up. The nice thing about internships, whether they're on campus or off campus, are that they're a wonderful way for you to step into that professional world. You get to see what it's like, you get to make connections, you also get to build a reputation for yourself. You never know who knows who, as you said, Akara. So, if you have a great reputation with your supervisor, they'll be happy to put in a good word for you because you earned it, right? Certainly, hopefully, they like you as well, but the important thing is that you worked hard and you did what you had to do. Allegra, you mentioned as well, you plan on sticking with that site, the site supervisor, learning more until you graduate. I think that's a wonderful success story, and you'll have that great recommendation whenever you need it. So definitely a lot of good stuff there. I want to ask you all as a career counselor for my profession, can you tell me about the resources that you used to find internships? And that'll also inspire our listeners today to keep an eye out for those kind of things to help them too.
Yeah, so for finding my internship, I found it on the website entertainmentcareers.net. That website has been so helpful for me. They post really great jobs. Most of them are unpaid, but you can get credit for them. But yeah, that's where I found my internship.
I found my internship through Purchase Job Score. I set up a counseling appointment with Jeffrey, and I happened to get the internship. So yeah.
I was a member of Night Perg on my freshman year, and either I found it on JobScore or my supervisor offered me the opportunity to do an internship for last semester. So there I registered and I got an interview.
I saw the tuner, and so I asked him if he would take me on as a student. And luckily, everything worked out. And then someone was like, "You should get credit." So I registered it as an internship for the work that we do. So yeah.
Fantastic. So a nice range of different things there. Purchase Job Score, thank you for giving that a shout out. In case you're new to Purchase Job Score, it is a platform we have for purchase students to access all of our jobs and internships 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So please feel free to log onto your account and see what you can apply to there. Also, of course, you have a wonderful story where Allegra was able to reach out and create her own internship of sorts. And that's also something that many students can do also. I've worked with students personally who have turned even part-time jobs into internships also as paid internships. So always keep an eye out for who's flexible and giving you an opportunity, and also what you can get from it in terms of credits or maybe even a nice stipend or something too. All right, so with that, I will let you know that we will end the recording as we'll jump into our Q&A. Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube, and thank you again to our panelists.